Hey everybody, welcome back to I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. I'm Slim.
And I'm black.
All right, and we're back for part two of the fighting game series. Um, so we left off, we were talking about Tekken. Um, and I also said like, there's quite a few other ones that we can go into. Some of the other fighting games, and Black, tell me if you remember some of these because actually some of these I had looked up and I was like, oh snap, I forgot about that. I forgot that one. So,
hmm
Virtual Fighter. Have you heard? You remember that one?
Oh yeah, Sega
Okay.
Genesis.
Yep. Um,
Well, I
and
believe it was Sega
actually,
Saturn at
that
that time.
was the
Yeah,
Sega Saturn, and it also came
yeah.
out on the PlayStation because I actually had that on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
Fatal Fury.
oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So that one, I knew that one. I knew about that one. I never played it though.
Yeah, that
So
was Neo Geo right there.
okay. Dead or Alive.
Yep.
Okay, that whole franchise was crazy. We're gonna talk about that franchise because that one was controversial for a different reason other than Mortal Kombat, other than just the
Exactly.
violence.
In,
All
in,
right.
in other in other words, well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll save it for later.
Yeah.
But I got a word for that
Yeah. Right.
game.
Samurai Showdown.
Oh yes, definitely,
Yes,
definitely. Oh yeah.
I do remember that one. That one
Yeah.
was kind of cartoonish a little bit, right?
hmm
Yeah, that one had a little bit more anime feel to it. So,
Yeah.
um, Bushido Blade. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do. Never played it though.
I played it. I remember playing it because I remember playing it with my nephew's father, and he actually was really good at that game. I sucked at that game, and that was the one where I believe you could actually perform Harikari on that one. I believe so. I couldn't remember for sure. I'll look when I pull the page up in a second, but I believe that that one you could actually do if you start losing whatever they force you to do Harikari or whatever it was. I cannot remember exactly. Um, Soul Blade, do you remember that?
Soul Blade.
It's also
Mm-mm,
called Soul's Edge. Soul Edge.
mm-mm. Don't
Oh
remember that.
man,
I
okay,
do
all right.
remember Soul Calibur though.
Well, yeah. So Soul Blade was a prelude to Soul Blade slash Soul Edge, depending on where it was released, was the
Mm.
precursor to Soul Calibur. So
Oh, okay.
same
So
same
I knew it
fighting game.
sounded okay. So I knew it sounded familiar. I was like, I wonder if he's talking about Soul Calibur, maybe Soul
Hey,
Blade and Soul Edge was prior to Soul Calibur. So yeah, you
yeah,
just answered
with
that
the
question.
cursed
Yeah,
sword.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Soul Edge was the cursed sword, and
Mhm.
Soul Calibur was supposed to be the good sword.
Yeah.
In other words.
Yeah, see, I never played Soul Calibur, or if I did play Soul Calibur, I didn't play the story. I only played the fighting. Um, in two more games, actually, uh, two more games, but there's more games than that. But two more. One is called Eternal Champions. Have you heard of that one?
Nope.
Okay. So that one was a Sega Genesis one. That's the one I've been talking about that my brother had, and it was actually a pretty decent, but it didn't. It held us because that was a fighting game that we had when we didn't have other fighting games. But it
Right.
was it was harder to play and it was harder to get in to enjoy. And I actually tried to play that when I was on the flight. I was in the airport a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Man, this is just frustrating. How did I like this?" um, but it was still a pretty decent and actually fun game. And then, excuse me, another game that came out for the PlayStation 2, I think it was. I don't, yeah, it wasn't on anything before the PlayStation 2. Was actually Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Did you ever play that one?
Yeah.
You played that?
Yeah, I never played it,
Oh.
but because I believe the controls is a bit weird for that.
Mm.
You
Well,
know,
well, it wasn't weird. It was, it was. So the fighting style, they tried their best to mimic the fighting style that was actually in the show.
mm,
So you had to kind of fight like that, and then the way they did the combos and things like that. So the controls weren't that weird, but it was
mm,
still harder to control. And here's what's funny. So my cousin, uh, I bought the game. I'm playing the game. I'm thinking I'm all good and all that, whatever. So my cousin comes over to play, and we're playing. He's a younger kid. He's probably like 14, 15, maybe a little bit younger than that. But um, we're playing, and I'm whooping his ass. I mean, I'm beating him down. Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me. I'm beating him down pretty bad, right? And he's getting a little frustrated, and I'm like, "Yo, don't it's not that serious." I'm like, I said, "We don't have to keep playing this. It's not that serious. It's all good," you know? He's like, "No, no, I wanna keep playing." He's mad.
Mm.
Dude grabs the case. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do this. He grabs the case, opens up the book that comes with the game, looks at the book for maybe like 5 minutes, maybe even less than that. It might have been only like 2 minutes. He goes flips through a couple pages, puts the book down, put it back in the case, drops the case on the floor. And I remember because like the whole dropping on the floor thing of it, it was like almost like a drop the mic moment. It was crazy. It was like he drops the case on the floor and like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, man. Dude, after that, I had never beat him ever again. Never again. I never
Wow.
was able to beat him. I mean, seriously. I mean, I don't know what he saw in that book that made it click for him, but after he read that book, I like seriously and you would think I'm joking when I say this. No, I am not joking, and I'm not talking about just any fighting game. I'm talking about any game after that. Like we used to play uh what was it? I cannot think about the name of it. Star Wars Battlefront. We used to play Star Wars Battlefront together online. Like back before like the whole online gaming on the consoles was really much bigger. It
Mhm.
was like on the PlayStation actually because we both had PlayStation. Um, and it was like when you actually had to buy the adapter for the PlayStation before it was already built in. So we played that, and he would always he was so good at that game, all the Battlefronts and everything. So dude was like I don't understand like what it was about him, but dude was just he was nuts at it. And like I said, I would never forget that playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai and he came over our house and he got so angry and frustrated and I was like, "Man, we ain't got to keep playing this. It's all good." And he was like, "No, I want to play." Man, read the book, dropped the case on the ground, and then it was like, "Let's go," and just took it to me. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, but anyway. Alright, so, let's go ahead and rewind it back. Um, uh, Dead or Alive, we'll start with that one. Go ahead and say what you were about to say about Dead or Alive.
I was about to say the one word I was gonna use was boobies.
Correct. So, um, we're not gonna get too explicit here because this is still technically a family show right now.
Right.
Um, so that one created what a lot of people call the bounce engine, I think it's called. Is that what it
Mm.
is? But basically, all of the female characters, they actually had more female characters in the fighting game than most other fighting games.
Yep.
And that was because all the female characters were had excessively large breasts and
Mhm.
they actually bounced a lot. And that game was basically designed for teenage boys. It pretty much was. I mean, I played that game a little bit, but I was just like, yeah, it's just not for me, you know. It was cool. It was a fun game to play. It was actually funny to play too, to see like what they did. But I it didn't that game didn't click for me because it was obvious what they were trying to do. So, how much did you play it?
I've never played it.
Oh,
I've
really?
only
Okay.
I've only seen I've only seen the videos from it, from gameplay videos.
Mhm, mhm.
So I've never played it, but I know, I know notoriously what it's known for.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's so funny too because I don't know if it was the whole controversy slash, what they actually did that turned me off to it or not, but I mean, like I said, like I actually got my hands on the game, played it for a little bit, and I was just like, it's not all that. So I didn't really stick to playing it, you know? I don't honestly don't remember, excuse me. I honestly don't remember any major characters of that game. I just remember that that game was designed so someone can showcase bouncing breast, and that's it, pretty much to me. Now, if I'm wrong, if someone else found some good about the game, please by all means, email us, comment on the Facebook post, Facebook. I mean, sorry, Instagram or Facebook post. Comment on either of them and let us know what you think about DOA. Um, but for the most part, for me, it just to me it wasn't as enjoyable as you would think. You know. So, I mean, maybe because I was older too when it came out. When did it come out? It came out, it came out in '96. So, that's the funniest part about it. W We were like teens slash, early adults in '96 when it came out, and you never played it, and when I did play it, I was like, It's not all that." Somebody's obviously just trying to kinda get us in with that, you know?
Hmm.
So, yeah, and actually, I don't even remember playing DOA 2 or 3. I don't remember playing either of those. So, that's funny. All right, so jumping over DOA, well, finishing up with DOA, Samurai Showdown. Let's go to that one. Did you play that one?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Tell me your thoughts on Samurai Showdown.
it's pretty dope. I mean, it's got a. I mean, the gameplay was and the moves sort of remind me of Street Fighter.
Mhm, mhm,
You know, you had this one guy. His name was forgot what Hamaru. And Hamaru, he was sort of like the Ryu of the game.
mhm,
He had this one move where he comes up with he'll slash you with the sword a couple times in a circle of motion, then come up
mhm,
like it's a dragon punch.
mhm. Yeah.
you know, but he wasn't my favorite character out of there. I think my favorite character out of there was I believe it was a guy. I forgot what his name was, but he had blue hair.
Mhm,
And his fighting style, he kind of like it looks like his back is turned to a certain extent. You know, when he fights you, you know, his samurai style was pretty unorthodox. And yeah, he's the one that caught my eye the most. As far as his style. You know,
yeah,
I forgot what the character's name was, but he had blue hair. He was a samurai,
yeah.
and
I'm trying to look here for a list of characters, but it's saying now the game has come to feature over 80 playable warriors, so I'm not looking through that. I definitely wow, they got Hattori Hanzo in there too. Um but yeah, I there's a lot, and then the actual game is set in the 18th century Japan, but it came out in 93. So we were in high school when that one came out. Yeah, I don't see a list of characters. So, because of the character list I have right here, they just said Hamaru and Nakoru. So those are only just two. Well, I guess those are two of the originals that actually came in. But like I said, they actually have 80 characters now.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, their character list is real big now.
Yeah.
I, yeah, I think the first Samurai Showdown I played was Samurai Showdown 2, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken.
Yeah. So I do remember playing the game, and like I said, it gave more of an anime feel to it. It was a good game. It was really good. Um, I don't remember that one. I think that's when I started actually kind of starting to get away from fighting games though.
Hmm.
And I think the game that brought me back to fighting games was Soul Blade. And yeah, Soul Blade that was oh, they actually had it in the arcade too, and that was in '96. So, it was a couple years that when I first started getting away from it, but then, other things came up, different points and different times. So, I was, like, in and out when it came to fighting games. So, um, but as far as Samurai Showdown goes, I honestly don't remember too much, about it, like, the specific characters. I just
Hmm.
remember, the anime style, it felt like, but then again too, I don't know, I feel like it was a little bit different too, because I think that was more like Bushido Blade was more anime style than that one. So it might have just been 2 different types too, so that's probably what it was. Um, anyway, no, Bushido Blade was actually 3D fighting, so the next game I wanna kinda talk about is the, Eternal Champions, the one I was talking about, that my brother had. That game that game, I know I touched on it a little bit earlier. I feel like I'm wondering, and it's so funny too because their finishing moves were called overkills. Um, I feel like it was almost trying to they were trying to be like Mortal Kombat too much with Street Fighter elements thrown in there.
Mm,
Um, it was released in '93, and it was on the Genesis. Um, and they had like they had a couple of different characters. They actually had like a lizard person, and um, they had somebody named Blade, which I think they try to do a couple of like generic characters that are like other ones, so to kind of draw people's attention in. There was a character who actually looked like he kind of looked like Balrog from Street Fighter with
mm.
sunglasses, and I think that's Blade. I think that was him. Um, that might have been him. But then they got somebody called Jetta, uh, Larson, and all these characters they have, they all have like similar things. Somebody named Trident. They all have similar characteristics that were based off of other characters in other games. So I
Mm,
think at the time of the game, like I said before, that game was one where it was what we had at the time, and so we played it like crazy. But I think now going back and talking about it and looking at it again and trying to play it like a couple weeks ago, um, that game for me it was I would have to actually definitely try it on something else. I think I would need to see and try it on a regular console and see if I like it or how I like it. You know,
mm.
um, I'm actually trying to turn an old laptop into an emulator so I can actually try it and see if I can actually play the games with that. Excuse me, with a updated controller and on the not on a console, on a laptop, so I can see what's up, because then I can actually hook the laptop up to the TV, and that's how I'll do it. So I don't know. Actually, I could also try and see if I can get one of those little Raspberry Pi emulators. Have you ever heard of those?
Mm. Never. No,
Okay,
no.
so basically all it is a lot of people are doing this. They're making emulators of these older game systems. They're putting it on a Raspberry Pi, which is just basically a little circuit board,
Mm,
and it's got other things that, like a lot of people use for a lot of stuff, like smart home stuff, video game systems, and just other things. But it's basically an easy programming board that you could use. Some people actually use it in cosplay for lighting effects and stuff. So. Um, that's one thing I can actually do, and I can actually put an emulator on one of those, and I can actually just hook it up to my TV that way, so, I don't know. But anyway, I definitely need to try it again just to kinda give it more of a chance, because like I said, I do remember have fond memories of that game, but when I tried to play it, I don't know, it kinda just gave me this feeling like I'm like, I don't know why I liked it, It's so weird. So, um, uh, let's go back to, Soul Blade. Um, well, before we go back to Soul Blade, because I want to leave from Soul Blade, I want to go ahead and go into I wanted to kind of finish out with uh Injustice. I want to finish that one up because that's the one, and I want to kind of ask you some more things or whatever. But before I go into Soul Blade, Virtual Fighter, do you remember that game?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one that's made by Sega.
Okay. What do you remember about that
Not too much. I didn't play. I didn't really play Virtual Fighter.
one? Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember too much. I remember it was, Virtual Fighter was right around the time when Tekken blew up,
Mhm.
and I guess that was the competition for Tekken was Virtual Fighter,
Yeah.
and they had all these they had all these kind of like 3D fighting games,
Mhm.
you know. So uh yeah, Virtual Fighter was pretty popular. I've never played it though.
Yeah. So I'm looking here and I don't see it on the PlayStation. So it must have been Sega on it or in the arcade that I've played it. Um the platform because I don't remember us having a Sega Saturn, but we might have. Well, my brother might have, but um I don't I'm almost positive he didn't have a Sega Saturn. Um so I don't know where else I would have played it. I don't think it was on the PlayStation 2 I played. I'm almost positive I thought I played it on a PlayStation 1, but I don't see it here for that. But going back to what I was saying though, um, I remember it being a slower paced game.
Hmm.
And when I played it, the characters were blocky, almost like the Money for Nothing video. Do you remember that video? Money for
Oh
Nothing?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So the characters were like really blocky, almost look like earlier precursor to Minecraft, really.
Yep.
um, and the fighting was just clunky,
Hmm.
and people were like eating that game up. They loved it, and I seem to remember playing it a lot, but I just remember it being clunky. Like why did I like it so much? I honestly I really don't remember why I liked it. You know.
I think it was a new thing.
Hmm.
I think the first time I played, Tekken was in the arcade, and that's when I seen Virtual Fighter.
Hmm.
Was in the arcade, and I was like, okay, this sort of looks like Tekken, but I don't really want to mess with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it was extremely popular, believe it or not. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. And this one came out in '93. So
hmm
yeah, I'm trying to see in my mind like what was it and where did I play it? Because I just seem to remember playing that one for hours. And I remember I like clear in my mind the art style, the dude with the blonde hair, you know?
hmm
And I was just like, what why do I feel like I used to love this game? But it has a lot of spin-offs too. And matter of fact, um currently they actually had uh a Xbox 360 mobile Xbox 360 a mobile version, and they even have a version for the PlayStation 4.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's still a the latest release is Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown in 2001. So it actually has a good following. It's still playing very well. And I'm like trying to look here. It looks actually way better. So, the just the different versions, it actually kind of looks like it's compared to a version well, at least the characters kind of look like it's compared to a little bit like Soul Blade, a little bit. But again, not by not playing it, I don't know. So I would have to actually try it out and see. I think this fighting game episode, we're gonna revisit. I think I'm gonna touch some of these fighting games that I haven't touched in years, and I'm gonna touch Mortal Kombat just to see. Um, because now talking about it. I honestly, I probably should have given it some of these. Like I do remember playing a lot of fighting games for a long time. You know, because for a while that's pretty much all we had. You know, and then as I got older, I got into more other games like action shooters, different things like that. Because I was able to buy them myself. But
hmm
back when you were a kid, your parents would buy you one game, you had to stick with that game forever. That's why so many people got so good at Mario and all these other games, Duck Hunt and all that, which is so funny seeing on TikTok and TikTok and like Facebook and stuff like that. Everybody who just found out about the in Duck Hunt, the second controller controls the duck. Did you ever know that?
hmm
Yeah, there's a meme going around, people talking about how betrayed, and somebody was like, "This is why I have trust issues." because they was
You
like
gotta be kidding
the
me.
second controller. So while you're shooting a duck hunt, somebody can actually be controlling the duck for you and be going around in different places here or there. So I've
Oh
never,
wow.
I haven't been able to verify it, but they actually pulled out the book, the duck hunt book, and it says it in the book. The second controller controls the duck. Isn't that funny? That's just wild. That's mad wild. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
that is wild.
I think I'm gonna I think I am gonna check out that virtual fighter.
Mhm,
I'm gonna have to pick it up. So I say closer to the end of the year, we might go ahead and revisit this. It'll be a single episode though. I think I don't think we're gonna go ahead and do another double episode about these fighting games. But go check it out and see. I might even try to. It's so funny too because I want to learn to actually stream, and so I think I want to talk to two streamers that I know personally.
mhm.
My cousin, my niece, and I've mentioned this before, but I want to learn to stream it just so if we do have listeners who actually want to see some of these games that we play, it would be dope for us to stream play the Gears 3. That would be hilarious.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, but I mean, again, like I said, I have to learn to do it. So, but anyway, so I want to go ahead and finish up talking with about Soul Blade. What is your experience with that game with Soul Blade? Like,
Like
did
I said,
you Caliber Soul Calibur?
yeah, yeah, uh, the first game I played in that as far as Soul Blade was Soul Calibur, which was, which was the later versions and
Mhm,
whatnot. Um, the what I remember when my first experience with Soul Calibur is that I believe it was Soul Calibur 2.
mhm,
And Soul Calibur 2 came out it was the GameCube, the PlayStation, and the Xbox. And each console had their own character that they pulled from somewhere else. Like
mhm,
I think Xbox had Spawn or somebody like that.
mhm,
Um, I think uh, I think PlayStation had somebody, and then the GameCube had Link, which
mhm.
was crazy,
Yeah.
you know. But that was the first one I played, and I was hooked after that. When I played Soul Calibur 2, and of course, my favorite guy in Soul Calibur 2 is the samurai guy, Mr. Luki.
Mhm,
He's my favorite. He's my favorite guy as far as the favorite character I like to work with. He's got the samurai style. I love samurai style, so he was my favorite character.
yeah.
Uh, he won't no joke. There was other characters I like to use like Shunghua and uh, uh, Maxi
Mhm.
with the nunchuck. You know,
I
all
think I
those guys
used
were
that.
good.
I think I used Maxi and something else too. I'm trying to pull up the characters here. Um, because I do remember using Huang,
Hmm.
and I remember that character was I believe that's the one that had the staff, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember using him. He was actually pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no, it wasn't the staff. It was the sword. It was a long sword. That's what it was. It was just a really long sword. So I can't remember who else had the staff. One of them had the staff, and I actually used that person that had the staff a lot too. I think it was the younger girl. I just can't remember what her name was.
Hmm. Yeah, because there was two of them. I think
Hmm.
one of them had staff, and one of them had one of them had staff, and one of them had like a spear type
Hmm.
uh weapon.
Right.
Yeah, and
Um.
but they both had the same style though. You know, they're both
Yes.
kind of used in the same way.
Yeah. Song Mina was one of the characters I remember using. Um. I don't see what her weapon was though. It doesn't show her weapon on here on this list. But um. Yeah. So it was crazy because Soul Edge or Soul Blade that actually came out in '96. So let me go back. I'm gonna look going back in here. Yeah, and that was the first time it came out to arcades. Was '96. So commercial says following up with Soul Calibur in '90. Yep, well, Soul Calibur came out in '98. That's when
Mm.
Soul Calibur came out. So these timelines, man, it's crazy trying to remember all these timelines because that's when a lot of stuff are going on in our lives. Like we are graduating. We're starting out our regular
Hmm.
lives. That's when I
Yep.
I went into the military, doing all that, and it was just like, man, just trying to remember all of that was just it was nuts, man. The only thing I do remember though is playing those games, because I think I talked about this before. If I didn't, um, one of the times where I went to the field for training, National Guard field training. Um, I actually brought a little mini TV and I brought my PlayStation, and we were in the barracks in our off time, basically having a Soul Blade tournament. And
Oh wow.
yeah, it's like a little mini tournament. Like how some people they actually have like Madden tournaments and stuff like that. You know.
Hmm.
Speaking of that too, I wanted we do got to get some Madden players to talk about because Madden is a very very large franchise. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, we got to get some Madden players to talk about. I know one, but you definitely know one too, so we can see if we can get
Hmm.
him on it. Um, so anyway, um, yeah, it was pretty funny because I want to say I don't remember exactly what year it was, and it actually might have been Soul Calibur that I actually had instead of Soul Blade, but it was on my PlayStation, my original PS1, because I remember I actually had to do that little trick because the disc wouldn't read, so I actually had to turn the actual console upside down, and it caused the disc to actually read a lot better somehow, which was stupid.
That is weird.
Yeah, yeah, that was the PlayStation, and they actually say, "No, it doesn't don't do that, it doesn't work." Yeah, it worked. It's just like blowing on your cartridge. They say, "Don't
Yeah.
blow on the cartridge because it didn't work," and
Shit.
somehow
I used
blowing the
to
cartridge
I
worked.
I used to use alcohol wipes to clean it. They said don't do that, and it worked fine. It
Yeah,
would
we
work
did well, we did
natural.
that too. We actually, we didn't use alcohol wipes, we just took a Q-tip, poured some alcohol in it, and then cleaned the little gold, leads on that connected the game,
Mm-hmm.
and that worked every time, so, um but, Soul Calibur, that game actually had a really good story too. The Cursed Swords, and Cervantes was like, a pirate, and,
Hmm.
it was so good because depending on who your character was, you had the knight, and I think that's the one who I used most, and I'm trying to find his name. I wanna s
Nightmare.
No, not Nightmare, but it was before Nightmare. Nightmare was
Oh, oh,
was
oh!
just the sword itself. Lem
Okay, yeah. So the dude that before he turned to Nightmare, or the Nightmare before Nightmare was I forgot what his name was. Oh my goodness.
and,
But
is it Siegfried? Is that it? I think
no,
it was
no. Oh, is it Siegfried, or was
Siegfried.
Was it Siegfried the guy who kind of had the like the lance type of fighting style? With the sword, with the
I thought Siegfried
Yeah, I think it was
excuse me.
Siegfried.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it was
it's I
Siegfried.
I think it's Siegfried. Siegfried was a guy who was just a regular knight. He had a giant sword, like a
Yeah,
like a
yeah, that
wide,
was
a very
Siegfried.
very wide sword. Yeah. So, um, Siegfried, because he wasn't in on the other games. It looks like I'm looking here, and it's like he wasn't in. He was added as a special character in other games.
Hmm.
So, Siegfried was the character I used the most, and he had this one attack where it was like he sliced down 2 times and then sliced back up once, and you can knock him out. And that's the one, he was so easy to use, but he wasn't always the best. Like, basically, if you made one wrong move with him, you were through, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
because it took a lot of force for him to swing that blade.
you're right,
If you
right.
miss, it,
Mhm.
it takes him a while to recuperate.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I didn't play too far into the series, but like by the time those special characters from the Legend of Zelda, Spawn, Star Wars, and I want to know what kind of weapon Spawn had. Like, did he have some kind of special weapon, or he just fought with his hands? Um,
I think he used his cape and stuff like that.
oh,
If
okay.
I'm not mistaken.
But
But
they had.
I never played the Xbox version because
Hmm.
like I said, the first Xbox I had was the 360,
Oh,
and I
okay.
believe that Soul Calibur came on the original the first Xbox.
Mm, okay. Well, the characters that they actually had was that they was from Legend of Zelda, Spawn, Star Wars, God of War, Assassin's Creed, and The Witcher. Um, they even had some characters that look like it's saying here. Um, it looks like it was a Samurai Showdown characters were in there too. That's interesting. Wow.
Mm.
So, The Apprentice from Star Wars, that's cool. Yoda, Vader was in there. Okay. Yeah, see,
Oh
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this.
I remember the Yoda one. That was the last one I played. Like talking about the one with Yoda and Vader.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that was my favorite one.
Yeah, I think I do need to get my hands on some of these other games just so I can revisit and I can actually kind of play this with more of a more insight on some of these games because and revisit we can actually uh go in more in depth about it, I should say. Um because it like it was fighting games was a big part of our childhood, and if you think about it, from when Street Fighter came out to 91 is when I said it came out.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Street Fighter, when Street Fighter came out in 91, Street Fighter 2, um, no, sorry, Street Fighter came out in 91. From Street Fighter to like 96, 98, when Soul Calibur came out, you know, a lot went on in our childhood, from 8th grade to being a senior in high school. But
Hmm.
these games, man, they kind of kept us like, locked down and kept us from, being out in the streets doing different stuff, what I'm saying, playing these
Oh
games.
yes,
So
mm,
these
definitely.
fighting games, I really do need to go back and give some of them a better chance just for my own knowledge, just kind of see how I feel about the game, especially trying out some of these newer games because, like I said, I got away from the fighting games just because of the other games that I picked up, but that doesn't mean any of these other fighting games weren't amazing, you know?
Mm.
So, yeah. But finishing up, I will talk about a fighting game that I did have a lot of time playing recently, and I even convinced you to start it out. So, Injustice,
Hmm.
and something about that game. We've already kind of talked about the game already. We had a whole episode. If you go back, go and look at the Injustice game slash movie episode that we talked about. Injustice 2. I didn't play Injustice 1, but I played Injustice 2 and Injustice Mobile. I played Injustice 2 Mobile for years after that it came out, and I just got rid of it because I was like, okay, this is addiction. I need to stop. um I just got rid of it. I want to say maybe 2 years ago or so. I can't remember for sure. It might have been even just a year ago I stopped. But anyway, um, Injustice is such a good game because it has some of my favorite characters in there, and then they actually brought in their Mortal Kombat characters. And I can't remember who else they brought in. I think they before I left the game, the actual mobile game. They actually brought in the Batman Who Laughs, which is a character that I'm really into now. I really am starting to really like that, and I got to read some more about that character now. Um, I've got the Dark Metal Days series, and I've got the actual Batman Who Laughs graphic novel. Um, so I really enjoy that character. I even have the Lego thing of that guy. We've already talked about that in the other episodes. But they've had a couple other different characters. They had the Atom, I think. I think the Atom is actually on. I don't know if he's on mobile, but I think he's actually on the actual console version. So, um, and I'm trying to think of um other characters, but they had a whole bunch. I think Darkseid is even in there. Yeah, Darkseid is actually in the console version. So,
Mm.
um, I got you to play after we started this podcast actually. Um, Starting out, have you played any more since the Injustice episode?
Not since then.
Okay.
Not since then. Not since then. As a matter of fact, I didn't after a while because I think it was the gameplay
Mhm.
because I was so used to being that it's made by the same it's made by
NetherRealms.
NetherRealms,
Mhm.
and they made Mortal Kombat. So I'm
Right.
thinking, I'm like, well, I'm going to get the same type of gameplay, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Like as far as the moves and doing
Mhm.
the moves and stuff, it was a bit different, on that game.
Okay.
And I didn't understand why, but it was annoying.
Oh, okay, okay. So it annoyed you too much to continue on.
Right, right. Because I was
Okay.
like, well, this is. I mean, even blocking is a bit, because I'm like, well, you just press a certain button to block.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I was doing it right or whatnot. Either way, I said, why can't this just be as easy as Mortal Kombat? As far as the game, as far as learning the mechanics of it,
Right.
you would think they were a bit similar, but they weren't, and it annoyed me. So I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna mess with this too much longer.
Okay, okay. So when you did play though, who did you play with that you
Batman,
remember? Batman, okay.
Batman, of course.
You were Batman
Yep.
the whole time?
hmm
Oh man, you should have tried other players.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it, but I was like, I was looking at the other characters. I was like, well, who do I really want to play in that game? I don't think they have. If what's his name? Uh, the guy that with samurai sword.
Uh
Um,
Samurai Sword. Uh
Deathstroke. If
Deathstroke.
they,
Okay.
yeah, Deathstroke. If they had Deathstroke in there, then yeah.
He might be in there. I'm trying to think. I know he was I think they actually had him in let me look it up real
He's
quick.
in the Arkham series.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about um I think he was in the mobile version. Um as a character that came out later on. But I don't think he was in there later. I don't think he was in here for the actual game. So I'm looking here at the series and yeah, I don't see Deathstroke. But they actually have Raiden in there. He's in there.
Oh wow.
Yep, Sub-Zero, Black Manta, he was actually really good. Black Manta was so good. Um Enchantress, I've played with hers. Oh wow, they actually have the turtles in here. Okay, see, so yeah, it's been a minute since I've played Captain Cole, Scarecrow. Yeah, I know all those. Black Adam. Black Adam was a crazy character to play with. Um,
Mhm.
uh, Doctor Fate. Doctor Fate, a mobile version was fairly easy to use. Like you could actually do a lot with Doctor Fate. So um, but I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember who the favorite character that I played with. I cannot remember which one was my favorite. I played Cyborg a lot. I played with
Mm.
Cyborg. Okay, so they got Deadshot, but not yeah, they don't have Deathstroke. So
Yeah, 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 yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. I knew they would have Deadshot up in that
yeah.
joint.
But again, like I said, Injustice 2 Mobile, they actually had a bunch of characters that were on it. So, um, but yeah, I'm not gonna revisit that. I just can't. I can't even do that. um, Superman playing him. Superman was I don't think I like playing him that often though. I do like playing Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was actually really good to play. So
mm.
yeah, that was a really easy character. But anyway, but yeah, I think out of all of them, the one that I favored most playing was Cyborg, just because um, I don't know, Cyborg seemed a little bit more brutal. You know, it
Mm.
was he was fun. Oh, but in the mobile version, Red Hood was actually really good too. I like playing Red Hood. He was really good.
Yeah,
So
Red Hood's a funny guy.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, one of the easiest characters to play with was Robin. So, um, he's Damian Wayne version, so he carries a sword. So yeah, he's actually really good. So if you wanted to try to play somebody with a sword, you know, definitely try him out. You know, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and look back into actually probably getting on that game with my daughter again and see. Matter of fact, too, it's funny. So my old Xbox, um, I got the new one for Christmas and all that, and my old one
Mm,
was just sitting here for the longest time. Well, one of those cousins I was just talking about earlier in the earlier episode, he hit me up. We got to talking. He didn't have a video game system. He was like, I didn't really, but I'm thinking about buying one. I was like, dude, don't do that. I got a game system that's just sitting here. So I went ahead and sent it to him. Shout out to my cousin Leon. Um, and I'm hoping to get him in on some of these games too, so we can actually, get some gaming in too. I would love
oh,
to have a chance where like my brother and my two cousins and I can all game again. But my brother's stuck playing Modern Warfare, and then me, I jump around the games. I have like long stretches. Like I beat Gotham Knights,
mm.
but I was supposed to go and beat Jedi Survivor, and I haven't because I got stuck back on GTA 5, which is now for the Xbox One. I mean the newest one, the Series X. For the Series X and the Series S, they actually have a different version called GTA Online. And so when you play that one, I mean, they also have GTA Online, something else, but it's GTA Roleplay is what I'm thinking of. Sorry, but for GTA Online, if you move your character over, you can't go back and play. Like, so you can still play, but it won't progress. So
Mm.
anything that you do won't save. Like all the stuff that you're doing now, you can't jump back and forth in different systems. So if you do end up jumping in, if I can get you on GTA, which, like I said, we can actually play and we won't get bothered by anybody because this whole time I've been playing all these couple of days, um, uh, I've actually been playing in a closed friends or invite only session, meaning it was either just me or just my daughter, her boyfriend, and I playing, just the three of us. No one was interrupting us. That was awesome. We could actually do a whole bunch of stuff, and I want to get you to try out some of these heists because you'll actually like them. But going back to what I was saying, I was trying to get my cousin so we can actually get some of these games. But the fact that I get stuck on these games and then my brother's stuck on the game he likes, and then my other cousin, he actually is a PlayStation gamer. So he plays PlayStation. I think he has a PS5. But he doesn't play Call of Duty either. So I gotta try to find a game that we can all play that we'll all enjoy, because that's that little bit of nostalgia right there for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no doubt, no
yeah,
doubt. Well,
yeah.
whatever it is, definitely has to be a cross play.
Oh yeah, definitely a
You know,
crossplay game. So yeah, it would be nice. I wonder if is Destiny a crossplay game?
I don't think so,
Oh, okay. Well, either
but it
way though,
may. I don't think it is.
I don't think a lot of people would like Destiny. I'll play it and I'll like it, but I don't think like, I'm almost positive my brother won't because he
Well,
likes
especially now. I
yeah.
mean, the 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 uh the 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 expansion that came out prior to the Lightfall one now
Mhm.
was good.
Mhm.
Uh, but the Lightfall is sucks.
Oh wow. Well, there's about to be another one that comes out. I just saw it just the other day. Another one's coming out because they were talking about how the guy who recently passed that voiced
Oh, you talking about K6?
I don't really know if that's the guy's name, but
Oh,
the one who played the steward in John Wick. You know who I'm talking about?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The black guy. What's his name? I
Uh,
forgot what. I know what you're talking about. I
right,
forgot what his name
Lance
was.
Riddick. Lance Riddick.
Yeah,
And it's so funny because I know some people are probably shouting that at us right now. Lance Riddick just recently
yeah,
passed,
yeah,
but he actually voiced
yeah,
the character in there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. He voiced what's his name? So you had K6, you had the black chick, which was she was a warlock class, and then you had the other dude was Titan class. That's who he voiced.
yeah. So he Commander Zavala is who he
This is
voiced.
Zavala, Commander
Yes.
Zavala. Yep.
Yeah. So he voiced him, and actually the person who's going to be taking his place is Keith David. Keith David played the dad in Something About Mary. He voices a lot of stuff. You've seen his face and you've heard his voice before.
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, I remember him. First movie I saw with him was Men at Work, and
Men
that
at
was with
Work.
yeah, yeah. That was with that was an '80s movie, man. That was had Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
Oh, okay.
You know they're like brothers or cousins or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
they're
and
brothers. Yeah.
yeah, and they were garbage men, and he was in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the movie was pretty funny too.
Yeah. But,
But going back to it,
yeah, yeah. Um, no, but what I'm saying, is yeah, there's gonna be another expansion on that game on Destiny. So, that would be cool. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can find something that we can all play and I can get my brother to try a different game other than Call of Duty, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know. I'm trying to find more people to game with, but it's
Mhm.
hard when so many people like so many different genres, and that's the hardest part of everything.
Right,
Is
not just that, but so many different genres, so many different ways to play. Because some guys
Mhm.
play on PS5, some guys play on PC.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's so many play ways you can play now.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, so but if you get a PC gamer on certain ones, you have crossplay. So, like,
oh yeah,
Call of
yeah,
Duty is one of those games that actually have crossplay, and you can actually play multiple people on multiple systems.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. It's that big.
yeah. So anyway, but going back, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Uh, like I said earlier, I will get on some fighting games over the next couple of weeks when I have a chance. School starting. I work for a school system. It's going to be a little bit hectic right here, but
Mm.
we're going to see what we can do. Um, Thursday coming up. If you see me post it, that means we did it. I'm gonna get Black on the game. I'm going to get him on uh, Gears 3 if I can, so we can actually finish that out, and I can get his thoughts on it in the podcast after this. Hopefully, if not, we'll see what happens. But we're gonna try and do this, y'all. We're gonna try and finish it up finally. I almost feel like I keep saying, sorry we didn't have time for Matt Damon. Do you know that joke from Jimmy Kimmel?
Mm.
No, oh, you gotta look it up. It's actually pretty funny. He does that. He's like, sorry we had to bump Matt Damon, and then like there's a joke rivalry between the two of them now. But anyway. Um, but anyway, so we're gonna see. We're gonna try and get into the game on. But until then, everyone, um, you know, uh you can find us on Instagram, Told My Wife Podcast on Instagram. You can find us I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills on Facebook. You can also email us, Told My Wife Podcast at gmail.com. Uh, Go to our page, hit us for get the notifications. I'm gonna try and see if I can post more. I gotta find somebody to help out with posting or something. I don't know yet, but I gotta get that posting more. Um, Also, if you can share, send us your thoughts. You can tell us on Instagram, you can DM, you can actually email, you can message us on Facebook. Just tell us your thoughts. We'll love to hear from y'all. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. And once again, we want to thank y'all for sticking with us. Sorry it took us long to come back again, but like I said, it was summertime vacation.
Oh yeah.
But currently, right now, this is Slim
And this is Black signing off.
signing off, and we want to say again, thank you for listening and thank you for sticking with us. Have a good one, everyone.